What's going on, good people? Welcome back to another episode of Trading My Live Account. Today is day number 18, June the 30th, 2023. We made some trades today, so let's get into it. So let's start off. Let's talk about our key levels that we have on the chart for today. So our closing price from yesterday's session was 34,357. Now we're a good little ways away from that right now at this point where we're at in the market. So that's not shown on the chart. But what that does tell us is that the trend for today is definitely up. If you're above yesterday's closing price, the trend is up. If you're below it, the trend is down, and that's just as simple as it can be. So with that information in mind, that let me know that throughout the session, I really only want to look for long trades. The only reason I would change that mindset is if I see a series of lower lows and lower highs that are clearly obvious that are telling me that sellers are starting to take back over. But until then, I really just wanted to look for the long trades, and that's kind of the thoughts that I had going into trade one today. So let's take a look at the notes and let's see what went on. So I went long during an uptrend as prices came back to test the channel line and support. And I think that's an important factor when it comes to the market, is finding more than one reason to get into your trade. Now, if you have one reason for getting in a trade, it could work for you, and I'm not saying that it couldn't. But when you have multiple things working for you in your favor, it increases the chances of you being profitable on that trade, especially when you're trading in line with the trend. So notice how not only did prices come back to create a higher low, they also came back to retest support and the channel line, which actually happened to line up at the same level, which makes it even better because think about it and break it down in terms of why the market increased from that level. You had people that were looking to go long based off a level of support. So that's one group of traders. But then you also have a group of traders that were looking to go long based on the channel line get in touch one more time. So that's the second group of traders. So you have people coming into the market, either adding to their positions or opening up new long positions. And if you're able to catch that wave, you can catch a quick little reaction back up to the upside. So that's all I was looking for. Just take prices back down from support back up to what used to be resistance throughout that day. And I think what's also important is the patience that it took for that trade to form, because notice how when the market first opened, we had a strong sell-off that looked like it possibly wanted to break back through the zone that we established in the pre-market from that spike that we got from the news from the PCE index coming out. That's actually the spike over here at 8:30. That's the reason that happened, which led to a overall uptrend in the pre-market hours that continued as the market opened after a quick little reaction to fake everybody out or to give buyers better prices. Now, what's actually important about this level also is the fact that this right here is the breakout retest for this entire zone, because notice how we established the zone over here right after the PCE index number came out. But once we finally broke through that zone, we never came back to retouch that level or reclaim it in any way, shape, or form. So even though the breakout retest might not happen immediately, that doesn't mean that it's out of the question. There could still be things that cause the market to push back down, retest that level, and then find support there and see the market move higher. And that's exactly what we saw happen at the open once we sold off hard back into the zone. So once we bounced off of there, that was just more confirmation that the uptrend was still as strong as we thought it was. Because if we were in an uptrend like we were from this point all the way going to the past, if we were in an uptrend and then we broke back down through the zone, that wouldn't necessarily mean that the downtrend is over, but it would mean that the uptrend is losing a little steam and a little bit of momentum. And I think the overall market context is also important too, because over these past maybe 2.5 to 3 weeks, we've been having a lot of days like these in the market where it's just been moving up and up and up and up. So having that in mind, if you start seeing the same patterns that you've been seeing within the past 2 to 3 weeks, more than likely that'll probably happen somehow, some way, in some shape or form in the session that you're trading on that specific day. So that's what I had in the back of my mind when I was analyzing this trade. I'm like, okay, that's the breakout retest. And then we pushed up. So that's showing us that the uptrend is definitely strong. The buyers showed their strength right here on these two candles as they pushed up. Now they came back and created that higher low. So once you see that higher low in combination with all of the other signs that we had to show us that the uptrend was strong today, that even gave me more confidence to let me know that, okay, I'm definitely only looking for the long trade. So Once I saw that higher low get established, I drew my channel line, and that's exactly what I used to go long at trade one. Now after trade one, I think I made some really good decisions on my part, even though I didn't take the trade. But that right there was the best decision, because we do see that once prices came back to that same level that I went long from at trade number one, once they came back at this point on this candle, they did come back up to give me an opportunity to take that same trade. I could have went long right here again and then got out right here again. But I think I made a good decision because I followed my discipline. One of my biggest rules when it comes to my plan is to not trade in times of indecision. Now, I was very undecided at this point in time in the market because we were in an uptrend, yes, and we were making higher lows, yes. But what I was seeing was the fact that we made a swing high right here, right? And then check this out. This right here is a lower high. And then if you look at what this represented before we got this upswing, so just imagine all of this right here is cut off. Actually, let's just zoom in and actually do that. So this right here was what I was seeing. So I was seeing boom, a lower high, and then a lower high. And one thing about it, I know that if I see a lower high, no matter how much I believe in the uptrend, I just can't take that trade, because for my strategy, I've learned over time that me going long against a lower high is just a very low probability trade, no matter how good I might feel about the uptrend being as strong as it possibly can be. So I think I made the right decision, and I followed my discipline because, well, hold on. I followed my discipline because a lot of times I would have made an emotional decision and said, well, if this is what the market is showing me, then this is what I should do. But a lot of times in the market, it really doesn't come down to that. It comes down to you just being able to chill, relax, and just make a decision based on the information the market is presenting to you. Don't make a decision based on your last trade or the trade before that or the last time you took it. Just make that decision purely based on what's in front of you. And I think today I did a good job of just leaving it alone. I could argue both sides at this point in time because we had higher lows, we were still above the zone, and we were pushing higher. So I'm like, okay, this is a higher low right here. More than likely they'll come back, retest that level, and keep going higher. But if I see those lower highs, that means that I'm not really quite sure and I'm conflicted and I don't need to trade. So I really give myself a pat on the back for just having enough discipline to leave it alone. And I think that leads us into the next topic I wanted to talk about, which was the discipline to stop versus the ability to push the issue when you feel like you're really on a tangent and you can get some really good money today and you're making good trades and you're in the rhythm and flow of the market. Now, that's a feeling that you get, and when you get it, you know it. But if you have to ask yourself, am I in the zone right now? More than likely, you're probably not. And after I made trade one, I just got this really weird feeling. And I think that's because throughout the week, and especially yesterday, I was on the stream, I was talking about how I wanted to come here, do what I needed to do, follow my strategy exactly the way that I planned it and exactly the way that I practiced it, and finish the week strong so that I can ride that momentum throughout the weekend and come back on Monday and continue to do big things. So once I reached that goal, I was like, man, I hit my goal for the week. Now, there was something in me that said keep pushing, because if you're already making good trades, more than likely you can continue to do so. And if this was any other day, I probably would have continued. But because I had those goals in the back of my mind, I wanted to more so focus on locking those goals in. The same way you have a good trade that goes in your favor and you lock that trade in and take profit, you also want to lock in your profits on goals that you have for your week, for your month, and for your year. So since I hit my goal for the week, I made the conscious decision to just leave it alone. Now, there was plenty of opportunity to still be had after I was done with my one trade, but I had to just stick to my rules and stick to my guns and say, look, if I'm done, I'm done. I did what I was supposed to do. I'm satisfied. I'll come back on Monday and run it back up again. So I think I really set myself up for success, because now I can go into the weekend with that momentum and really work hard. And I think that's what I want to focus on, because overall I had a great day today and yesterday, and I haven't took a losing trade since Wednesday. Now, The main thing that I'm focusing on is not getting too complacent. Like, yeah, I've been making some good trades lately, but none of that matters if I don't continue to put in the work that led me to being able to make those good trades. I believe that the reason I made those good trades was because I've been working really hard in my back testing sessions, this not only over the course of this whole year, but especially this past week, because I've been in super drawdown and I refuse to stay in drawdown. I will get out of it, and the only way to do that is by working hard. So I've been going really hard, and I just want to keep that momentum going, because getting out of a drawdown is more of a mental mind frame shift. Because when I was in drawdown, honestly, I felt like everything that I was doing was wrong. Every trade that I take was probably going to be a loss. I'm like, how could I go from having every trade that I took almost be, not almost be a winner, but in my head I'm thinking, oh yeah, this trade is good. How could I go from a mindset like that to then thinking that every trade that I take would not work out? It's really a mental thing. When you put your work in and you have good practice sessions, that transfers over to your live sessions, because pretty much it's nothing in the market that you haven't seen. And if you haven't seen it, you just don't trade it. Kind of like what I went through today with trade number one. I'm not really familiar with this pattern where we have a channel line moving to the upside, but you can also draw a channel line to the downside. Hey, in times of indecision, just leave it alone. So I think that comes from practice. When you're able to believe and be confident in your strategy, somehow, some way, you just end up making the right decisions and avoiding the wrong decisions. So I want to continue to keep that habit going, and I think that starts this weekend with having a good back testing session. So I know throughout the week I've been telling you guys that I want to focus on avoiding the losses that I don't have to take, because I think that was my main problem this week. I had a lot of good trades, but some of my good trades, I ate into that profit because I just took trades that made no sense, and I was just trying to see what was going on. So that's really my biggest focus this weekend, just getting better as a trader and trying to be more consistent, because I feel like I'm right on the edge of getting out of drawdown. I can feel the mental shift happening in my brain. I can see the results being shown on the chart. Now it just comes down to me and my work ethic and being able to really grind it out, be gritty, put that work in, and come back and be a better trader on Monday. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in with me so much. It's been a great week. It's been a great day. Make sure you guys get your back testing in this weekend. You know I'll be doing the same too, and I hope we can all come back on Monday as better traders. And until then, you guys, take it easy.